Hi, it's Fiona Lewis here from Super Savvy Business, and welcome to this week's podcast. Now, I have an amazing guest for you today, and I know that by listening to this podcast, you're going to come through the other side of it feeling excited and full of new ideas for you and your business and how you might be able to really improve your business in a very, very simple way. Now, to introduce our guest, I actually need to tell you a little bit of a story. Recently, I went down to my post office box to collect my business mail, and in the mail there was a brown envelope with a handwritten address, a couple of little shiny stars, and the stamp was just placed a little bit off center. So, I had about 10 letters in the post that day, but of course, this particular envelope stood out because it wasn't white. It had a handwritten address and some nice little shiny stars. So, as you can imagine, that was the very first envelope that I opened. Now, when I opened that envelope, it had another brown piece of paper, lovely quality paper, and a handwritten note with felt tip. Now, how often do you these days get a handwritten note in the post on paper that looks attractive and appealing? And it was a letter from a lady called Lucinda who reached out to me to say that she'd recently read one of my blog posts and that she'd found it very useful. And she just wanted to let me know that she really liked this blog post, but also inside the envelope were a couple of magnets. Now, it grabbed my attention, and I won't tell you exactly what Lucinda's business is because I'll get her to explain in a moment. But I just thought it was a fantastic example of marketing because, of course, as business owners, we often get lots and lots of mail and, in our inboxes, but also in our post boxes. And often you just pop them on your desk where you're not really interested to open them immediately. But I immediately wanted to open this envelope because it was handwritten. And just the personal sort of touch of this letter itself, it was a great way for me. I just thought, I just need to know who this lady is. I need to reach out to her and talk to her and thank her, first of all, for reaching out, but to let her know that I thought that by taking this gesture, it was a great way of reaching out and actually building connections. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Lucinda and let her introduce herself and tell you about what she does. First of all, welcome to our call, Lucinda.
Thank you so much, Fiona, for having me. It's such a pleasure. I'm so glad I sent that letter to you, and hearing your comments about it, I'm just sitting here bursting with pride. So thank you so much for the lovely things that you said about the letter.
Look, to be honest, Lucinda, I think if more business owners were to take this approach, they would see dramatic increases in their ability to build leads and customers because nobody does this kind of stuff anymore, do they?
Not really, and I would have to agree heavily with you. When I go to my PO box, I am greeted with bills, junk mail, all sorts of things. And if there is something in there that just looks a little bit different, it just grabs my attention. But to be honest, I haven't received anything like that in years and years and years. The reason that I sent that to you was I genuinely did read. I followed a link. I went to an article. Writing that letter to you maybe took me, because I like to handwrite my letters, it maybe all up took me, say 10 minutes. And if we include that I read the article as well, I guess 20 minutes. But to me, it was something that I did on a day, but look what has come out of it. You called me. We have this connection now, and now we're sitting here recording a podcast. It's such a small thing, but has led to such a beautiful thing. And really, it was very, very simple. So yes, I agree with you. Sometimes the most simple things are really the most amazing marketing ideas, I suppose. But I didn't set out thinking, oh, I'm going to do this. It's a great marketing thing. I really did just want to connect with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. You don't know where these leads will go, and
Yeah.
obviously we've now connected, and you're keen. We're both keen to sort of do business together and connect and form a strategic alliance. So you just don't know where these situations can go. So it's a really good idea to reach out to people. Now let's talk about your business and what you do. Because obviously when I got that letter, it got my attention, but immediately I went to check you out to see what you do. And I thought, this is a lady that would be really great for my community. So I'm going to pass over to you to explain a little bit about who Lucinda Lyons is and what she does.
Okay, well, thank you very much for asking. And my business at the moment is called Slogan Creator. So the backbone of that business is really about writing slogans that sell. That is actually the slogan for my business, Slogans That Sell. It's, as you can imagine, a very niche business. It's all about just writing slogans. I will just let you know I have another business as well, and that is called Lion Writing. That is very much focused on writing website copy with the emphasis on conversion optimization. So I've got two businesses, and the one that you went to the website and visited was Slogan Creator, because I included all the Slogan Creator branding. You're a marketing person. I very much knew that we could have a connection on that level, because you would understand the importance of slogans and taglines. They are called taglines as well. I'll just call them slogans, but you can call them taglines if you want. That's completely okay. But yeah, so my whole goal really is to sort of educate people about the importance of having a slogan for their business these days. I think a lot of people see it as a nice to have, where I tend to see it as something that's pretty much vital at the moment, particularly if you have an online business. So if you have a website or a blog, it's really important. But really, for any business, it's quite important. I can go into the reasons for that if you've got time, if you want me to explain that, Fiona.
Oh, look, definitely I'd like to touch on it. And this is, what you've just said is exactly why I picked up the phone, because, as anyone who's been around me for a while, they know that I've got my consulting business where I'm helping business owners to develop their online presence, but also my coaching and education side of my business. And, that's one of the things I hear a lot from people is, what's my tagline going to be? They really struggle with that whole way of expressing themselves on their websites, because once someone comes to your website, you've got 2 to 3 seconds to get them to make the decision to either stay or leave. It's only a momentary sort of time that you've got to encourage someone to stay. And so the quicker you can let people know who you are and what you do or what you stand for or how you might be different to others, the more chance you have of keeping people on your website.
Look, you've summed it up absolutely beautifully. I think I should be asking you the question, and you really have just summed that up. So I guess what I'll do is just reinforce what you have articulated so well, in that is key. Your website literally has a matter of seconds. People come to your website or to your blog, and bang, bang, bang in their heads, they're making a decision: do I stay or do I go? So that's where I really come in and say, you absolutely must have a website tagline or a website slogan, something that is going to tell people, okay, you're here now and this is why you should stay, or you're here now, this is why you should care, or this is why you should buy, or this is why you should sign up to my newsletter. You have to give people a reason to care and to stay. Another really good example of this is, you'd find this too, Fiona, you'd go through your news feed and you'd see links to lots of different articles. I'm sure you read a lot of content on a daily basis, as do I. And so I'll get a link, I'll go to a blog, I'll read the article. The article will be interesting, and I'll look at the blog to see, well, is this a blog that I actually want to subscribe to, or, that I want to find out more about? And quite often it won't give me any sort of information about what the blog is about or why I should care. So I'm looking for a tagline. I actively want to know, okay, this was an interesting article, but is the rest of the content going to be relevant to me? And quite often they don't have a tagline. So if I had the time and the inclination, I'd go to the About page and I'd read about it, but I don't have that time. So they've lost me, because I read the article and I move away. But Had they had a really great, effective tagline, I would have probably